Am I the butthole for saying my secret workout routine is depression? I, 25F, had a miscarriage in early January this year. I lost my mother to a completely unexpected heart attack in February. We used to be very, very close, and her death, coupled with the loss of my child, devastated me. I slipped into depression, developed anorexia, and lost a huge amount of weight in a very short time. I used to be 165 pounds and now I'm at 120 pounds. I attended my best friend's wedding yesterday, tiny ceremony. It was the first social event I attended this year after my transformation. There was an acquaintance there who seemed enthralled by my body. She's very into fitness, but she's not someone I am particularly close, and she kept asking me about diet plans and said that she needed to know my secret workout routine for her clients. I politely deflected the questions at first and said something along the lines of I just was not in a good place, lost my appetite, and it just happened. But she kept pestering me and said I should help other people lose weight too. I lost my patience and told her that I actually developed an eating disorder and severe depression. I don't think your clients would like this routine. She made a face and left me alone for the day. I thought this would be the end of it. Turns out, after the celebrations were over, she went and complained to my best friend's husband, she's his sister, and he called me and asked me to apologize for embarrassing his sister on his wedding. I've refused to apologize as of now, and I'm not sure if I should. Am I the butthole for telling an acquaintance that my workout routine was depression? NTA. I thought it was becoming common knowledge that you don't comment or compliment someone on their weight unless you know them well enough to know how it happened. You tried to deflect nicely and she wouldn't stop. Honestly, if I was her, I would have realized what I did was out of line and apologized to you by now. That fitness enthusiast is going to pester a cancer patient one day for their secret, rolling eyes face. You never ever comment on weight loss unless you are very close to the person and know they were trying to lose weight, or if they tell you for whatever reason they lost X pounds. So exciting. Unless you're in the medical field, obviously. That was my thought too. Oh my god, you've lost so much weight. What's your secret? Cancer, facepalm. Fun story. When I was working in an outback pub in Australia, I'd lost a lot of weight. I got a few compliments after a while of being there because the weight loss was noticeable. Enter a lovely customer, who told me that old fat married women should hope to get cancer to help them lose weight, and I'm lucky to be young with a high metabolism. Even funnier, I'd been told 2 weeks prior that I had early stage cervical cancer. The lovely customer didn't stay long after his comment. It's crazy to think that physical and mental health should take a backseat to physical appearance. I hope your cancer was treated quickly, with few side effects, and you're healthy now. I've had a few hiccups over the years, but I've been clear since last October. I am healthy, thank you. I gained weight after cervical cancer and have to explain that too. People don't like the answer either way. I'd lost the weight through stress initially, then absolutely ballooned during treatment. The moral of the story is pretty much mind your business. I had only surgery and wasn't allowed to do anything for 2 months. After that, I still had a lot of pain for a while with many of the most mundane movements I made, and after almost 2 years now I still regularly have pain in the strangest places. Since I wasn't much of the sporty type to begin with, the reason why I'm fat is pretty obvious. I had almost this conversation with my boss a few years ago. Even though he knew I'd just been out of work for 3 weeks on medical leave. "Ong, you look amazing. It must feel great." Well, no, actually, it feels like my stomach is literally digesting itself, and the half of Vicodin I took this morning is wearing off. Because pancreatitis is a bitch. Well, you look great anyway. My sister lost a ton of weight from a severe drug addiction that almost took her life several times. I've had a couple of people comment on her weight loss compared to my struggles with it and ask why I don't ask my sister for help / why don't I do what she did kind of thing. I either laugh or say it's not the healthiest, and if they persist I tell them. They always act awkward after that. I did the same thing, but it was due to diabetes for the person I complimented / asked. Oi. This could go so badly in so many ways. Oh, you have a horrible drug addiction that caused you to lose all that weight? You look gorgeous, honey, post that regimen. I definitely considered doing meth for weight loss when I was younger. Get thin by any means possible is pervasive. I've always been and still am fat, And I vividly remember being 14, sitting in an assembly in school where they had brought an expert in to give us a talk about the harmfulness of anorexia and bulimia, and looking at the screen and wondering how much weight I could lose that way. Same here. I honestly considered a tapeworm at some of my lowest points. Even now the get thin thoughts invade and I start spiraling. I've gained about 25 pounds over the last 2 years and my dad will not shut up. Like I'm looking at maybe having to have surgery, and he mentioned a neighbor who had to lose weight to have something similar. She weighs 200 pounds more than me. Like I'm not fat, Dad, I'm just a little extra right now, thank you very much. In the late 1990s, actress/comedian Janine Garofalo lost a bunch of weight. She'd often been cast as funny best friend in movies like Reality Bites, and wanted to be a leading lady, but casting directors basically told her that her normal weight body was too chubby for that to ever happen. So she lost a bunch of weight, and didn't really get many leading roles as a result, now that I recall, and people kept asking her how she did it. Her reply? It sounds awful, but I've done the Diet Coke and cigarettes diet. It worked, but I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. My mother was diagnosed with stage 3 ovarian cancer, which took about 3 years to eventually kill her. During her long decline, she lost about 50 pounds and ultimately even more, only 5 to 10 of which she could spare. She told me that a chubby nurse at her oncologist had the insanity to say after weighing my mom, "I wish I could lose 50 pounds. My mom was too sick at that point to verbally throttle her, as was her gift." But can you imagine how effing clueless a medical professional working in an oncology department would have to be to say something like that to someone with terminal cancer? I wish I had been there that day. Edited to add, not the butthole that woman embarrassed herself on her brother's wedding day. So sorry to hear about your mom. I had ovarian cancer 3 times, and I could share some stupid people's stories. I finally realized that most people are only thinking of themselves, which is why they can be so thoughtless. I was too sick to waste my energy on getting upset with them. Love and forgiveness was easier. I hope your mom is resting in peace. Hugs to you, Purple Heart, Purple Heart, Purple Heart. Yeah. When I dropped a bunch of weight relatively fast, the first things my friends did was check up on me to make sure the weight loss was voluntary. You really never know when someone gains or loses a ton of weight, so it's best to not comment, or at least make sure they're doing all right before saying something. But even then, a close friend, at the time, knew I was losing weight, and that I was trying to do so, but I was unhealthy about it. She herself had recently gained weight, and wouldn't stop asking what I weighed and how I was doing it, a combination of anxiety, self-loathing, and disordered eating, along with obsessively working out. I didn't want to tell her, because I inwardly knew it was wrong, and she'd always ask. Like almost every time we hung out. That's not what killed our friendship, but man was it a contributing factor for me. NTA op. Please take care of yourself, heart. People like this are so obnoxious. I think it's fine to say, "Hey, you look like you've dropped some weight." But whatever the response to that is, nothing more needs to be said, unless they clearly are interested in talking about it. I've had people say it to me, and a laughing response of "yeah, happens when you're too broke to eat" usually ends the questions. If they push past that, they embarrass themselves, because up to that point, it could have just been a playful joke, with a response of "ha, right? I hear that." Or something similar. I think it's fine to say, "Hey, you look like you've dropped some weight." There are a lot of people who don't have an ED diagnosis but still struggle with disordered eating. Simple comments like these can be pretty harmful to someone whose mental health is a bit precarious. I've learned to just play it safe and never comment about anyone's weight, ever. Even if it's a drastic difference and very obvious change. If they want to mention it, fine, but I respond in the vaguest way possible. Whether someone says I've changed my eating habits, started exercising and I've lost 6 pounds. Or I just got on new meds and I feel less depressed, but I gained 6 pounds, I just say something to the effect of, "Well, you look great." And move on. You really never know who tends to channel stress and mental health struggles into self-destructive control issues food in the body. And people who do tend towards those thought patterns/behaviors are listening very carefully to every word you say their appearance, their weight, what they eat, etc. It's a potential minefield, and I just don't think it's worth the possible harm. There are too many other things to make small talk about. You also never know who is listening. Hearing adult family comment on each other's weight when I was a kid was definitely detrimental. I try to make a general rule of never commenting on people's weights or bodies in general, with an exception for, "That shirt is so cool." Or "I love what you've done with your hair." My grandfather passed a month ago and I'm so tired of "You lost so much weight, romantic face, romantic face, romantic face, romantic face, romantic face," from people. When I say it's from stress that I just lost a family member, they seem to all respond, "But you look amazing," clapping hands. It makes me feel horrible, like why can't people just say you look good, not ask about the weight? I ended up losing a bunch of weight after a breakup, and it's amazing how comfortable people are with commenting on it. I get a lot of comments from a manager at work, "Because you're skinny like I am," and it really got under my skin because I knew that wasn't the case. When you lose weight unintentionally and know it'll probably come back eventually, feels really crappy when people talk about your weight loss like it was some transformative event that changed who you were. On the bright side, I've gained back enough weight that people are no longer comfortable talking about my body at work. Thanks, Quarantine 15. Edit, forgot to say, sorry for your loss. I lost a bunch of weight several years ago. The secret was diet and exercise. I watched my calories and burned more than I took in. It was easy, but it wasn't easy. A woman at my father's church asked me what I did to lose 45 pounds over the summer, so I told her, diet and exercise. I have never gotten a dirtier look in my life. There's no magic way to drastically lose weight, it's all work, and if you lose a ton of weight all at once without doing diet and exercise, then you are probably not doing it in a healthy manner, either an illness or disorder, and people shouldn't be replicating it. And most people who are losing weight due to illness or a disorder aren't going to recommend it, in my experience. You would think so. I lost some weight during lockdown because I started going to the gym more regularly and skipping breakfast. I wake up later now that I work from home. First day I go into the office after 4 months, I had 5 different colleagues comment that on it. We're Chinese, so it's something I've come to, try to, take in my stride. I always get comments asking when I intend to lose some of the weight, or I would be prettier if I did, but I always wish I didn't have to. You just never know what might have happened in people's lives. I learned my lesson running into an old friend at the mall and saying, "Wow, you look great." I knew he was attempting to before, so assumed he was working out and dieting. He just said, "Thanks, it's the Crohn's I was recently diagnosed with." I felt horrible and apologized and immediately asked him how he was doing and feeling and to let me know if he needed anything. Never commenting on weight loss again. I don't think you did anything wrong here. I normally frown upon any unsolicited comments about a person's weight, but the key here is the fact that the last you knew, your friend had been actively trying to lose weight, thus you actually had context for telling him he looked great as opposed to saying it out of nowhere. That his weight loss was actually caused by a chronic illness and not his hard work at diet and exercise was a plot twist that you couldn't have seen coming, and once he told you, you responded in exactly the appropriate manner. You seem like a good friend, to be honest. Yes, this comment should be higher. As she states that this girl is in the fitness industry, I assume she has some kind of fitness and/or nutrition knowledge. As any nutritionist or a registered dietitian can tell you, it is a #1 rule not to comment on people's body on how much weight they lost or gained or how good they look. It can be a very triggering statement to make. What may seem like a compliment can trigger those in recovery into a downward spiral. What she said was not only in poor taste, but if she doesn't understand this, I feel bad for any clients that girl takes on. Exactly, it's rude and intrusive. A lot of years ago I was so thin, due to medical issues, that previously hidden bones were visible. A woman was bugging, asking how I lost so much weight. I ended up eyeballing her and told her I just got out of the hospital. Shut her right up. My normal weight at the time was on the thin side, I had no reason to want to lose weight. I looked horrible when I did lose some. I can't understand why this woman thought I looked so great. I absolutely didn't. Apologize for embarrassing them. They embarrassed themselves. Why can't people just let people be, for goodness sakes? Learn to take a hint. NTA. Don't ever apologize to this woman. She should apologize to you. You told her gently what had happened and she kept hassling you until you told her bluntly. If she got her feelings hurt, that is 100% her fault. Not the butthole, and I hope you're in a better place now. Edit, hey, thanks for the award. This original post tried answering in discreet and polite ways that would have spared the sister embarrassment. Sister was too rude/dumb to listen. ETA, oh my gosh, thank you for the award. Op tried answering in discreet and polite ways that would have spared the sister embarrassment. And even when Original Post did get blunt and set the sister straight about what actually happened, Original Post did it directly to the sister, I assume in the same private correspondence. It's not like Original Post shouted at the sister in the middle of a party, or made it a public post on Facebook about what the sister did. The only people that the sister was embarrassed in front of was herself and Op. The sister is the one who made it a public issue by complaining to others. TBH, even after Original Post got blunt, she was still polite. It could have been her first answer and it still would have been perfectly appropriate. If I'd overheard only that part of the conversation, and not the lead up with the sister blowing past all the deflection attempts, I wouldn't have understood why the sister felt humiliated by that at all. Interesting how the friend's husband is the one demanding an apology, not the friend herself. Original Post is her best friend, so I assume she knows what was going on in her life. Seems like husband and wife had the discussion and the best friend did not want to make Original Post apologize, rightfully so. I don't understand what his deal is. It's not like she made a scene or anything. She's clearly not an actual personal trainer. A big part of the job is actually listening to people, and it was well inferred what she meant. Yes, this behavior has multi-level marketing health coach written all over it. I bet you anything she sells weight loss shakes or wraps or some other snake oil. Also, a personal trainer would know there is no such thing as a secret to weight loss. Eat less, exercise more, that's it. Exactly. I agree wholeheartedly. The second you said you lost weight because you weren't doing well, she should have shut the hell up and stopped pestering you. What was she expecting you to say? You weren't doing well, so you started running marathons? Her continued questioning makes no sense. Do not apologize to this woman, she needs to learn to read the situation and when to stop prying. Thank you for watching. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube. And share them with your friends. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. We welcome your comments below. Another of our videos will begin shortly.